Hi everyone, it's Sherry Vegas, and in this video tutorial today I'm going to show you how you can use resin to create a realistic looking black marble effect. So this is the next part in my video series that I've been creating on YouTube, all about how you can use epoxy resins to create different stone effects. So I'm going to add the link up here if you haven't watched the previous videos, but in each different tutorial I show you a different technique and a different style of stone. So if you really want to get into creating sort of different stone effects using resin, then definitely go and check out the playlist. But today I'm going to be creating the black marble effect with resin, and I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite tips and tricks and a few things that I haven't shown you guys yet.
I've got my epoxy resin all mixed up and ready to go. This one is from Resin and it's got about a 90-minute working time. And when you do pieces like this, having a resin that's got a decent amount of working time is going to really help you to achieve these effects. And now I'm just going to be adding in some black pigment paste. So this one is from Barnes and I'm pretty sure it's just called black, but it's very strong and it's one of my favorite blacks to use as it gives you a really blackest black. And then I'm just going to be mixing that in to the majority of my resin. So I have split some of my resin off and put that aside to mix some white pigment paste into it. But the majority of my resin is going to be black, and then I'm just going to be pouring that all out completely across my surface area, just making sure that I get a nice even coverage the whole way over. And then you can either use a little scraper tool like this, or just let the resin sort of move itself out and level. Now I kind of always like to use a little bit more resin than what is actually required, because I like it to drip off the edge, because sometimes when you do these sort of marble effects, you can then pick that resin back up and create some cool patterns with that. I'm just using my blowtorch to go through and pop any bubbles that I might have. When you do add heat to resin, you are shortening your working time every single time you add heat. So if you keep adding heat, you're going to keep shortening that working time. Does anyone else find it incredibly satisfying watching all of these bubbles pop when the blowtorch goes over the top? Also too, I'm sorry about the glare, but when you work with black resin, it reflects everything. So in a few of these shots, you're going to see my face and you're going to see the tripod from the camera over the top. So I am sorry about that glare. What I'm doing now is just doing a light dusting of spray paint. I'm using a bronzy colored spray paint, and then I've sprayed some of my alcohol over the top. The reason why I spray alcohol over the top of the spray paint is it just makes the spray paint separate and it creates that really cool pattern. And when we do any sort of marble effect, we always want to create layers. So this is my base layer. Now I'm building up that base layer by adding in some white, and I'm doing a really cool technique with this spray paint. So this is a marbling spray paint. You can get it from most hardware stores. It actually kind of reminds me of like spider webs, like Spider-Man movies. And I'm spraying that across my board to create those really faint thin lines that you see in a lot of marble work. This does come out really fast and really strong, so less is more, and definitely practice with this product before you do add it onto your board. If there is an area where you've just added too much of that marbling spray paint, you can either use a paintbrush, your hand, a powder pop stick, and just pull that marbling spray paint apart. This is just going to help soften up any areas where there might be too much of that marble spray paint and it stops looking realistic. I also found too, the direction that you hold the spray paint in, whether it's directly above or on the side, or if you tilt the spray paint bottle to the side, you're going to get completely different patterns with that spray paint. When I was happy with how the base was looking, I started adding in some detail, which are my fractured lines. I'm doing this by using some resin that I've mixed a titanium white pigment in with, and then I'm just drawing that across the board, and I'm using my paddle pop stick to do so. When you do look at real marble and you see the fractured lines, you'll notice that they're generally either straight or they break off and go onto angles. You'll never really see them have a curve to it or any sort of loops or circles. So when you do start adding your fracture lines in, that's something to think about. And you can add as many or as little as you like. And in some areas, you'll see that they're a bit thicker, and other areas you'll see that they're a bit thinner. So if you want to create a realistic looking piece, it's good to kind of notice those details and add some that are a bit thin and some that are a bit thicker. And then if you do add any that are too thick, you can always use your heat gun to just help blur those lines out. The hardest part I think about creating a piece like this is just knowing when to stop when you have enough fractured lines. But this is my inspiration photo, and I honestly think that this piece looks pretty accurate towards it. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Also too, if you're wondering why I don't have a mask on, I forgot to put one on, but luckily because I am using an art resin that has no VOCs, it's fine to wear without a mask. But generally, I just always like to wear masks just to be extra safe.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please give it a big thumbs up. It always helps my channel out and lets YouTube know to show this video to more people. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment box below. And as always, let me know which sort of stone effect you want me to do next in this series. I've had a lot of requests for pink marble, so that one is coming up. But if there's any other particular types of stones that you want me to create and show you how you can do that with resin, then don't forget to leave that in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.